This video provides commentary and analysis on public legal filings and statements from representatives. All parties are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. This content is intended for educational and informational purposes under fair use.
In the world of high-profile relationships, few have captivated the public imagination like the marriage of Jeff Bezos and MacKenzie. Scott, for over 2 decades they were seen as a power couple, a partnership of minds and hearts, navigating the pressures of wealth, fame, and ambition. However, behind the scenes their story took a turn that shocked many when news broke that MacKenzie had filed for divorce shortly after a particular incident that changed everything. Understanding the context of their marriage and what led to this decision requires looking beyond the headlines into the dynamics of their relationship, the foundations they built together, and the pressures they faced as individuals and as a couple. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, the world's largest online retailer, is known for his relentless drive, his vision, and his desire to shape the future, but such intensity can also strain personal bonds. MacKenzie Scott herself is an accomplished author and philanthropist who played an instrumental role in the early days of Amazon, supporting Jeff and contributing to the company's culture. Yet as Amazon grew into a global giant, the personal lives of its founders became intertwined with public scrutiny, making privacy increasingly elusive. The shocking moment that precipitated their divorce was not simply a private disagreement, but a revelation that shook the trust and exposed vulnerabilities in their marriage. The emergence of Jeff Bezos' affair with Lauren Sanchez, a television personality and helicopter pilot, created a media frenzy that forced the couple to confront painful truths in the public eye. This moment was shocking not only because of the affair itself, but because of how it came to light. The National Enquirer published intimate text messages and photos that unveiled the relationship, sparking debates about privacy, ethics, and the power of the media to influence personal lives. The scandal was a reminder of how technology and journalism can amplify private matters to global audiences. Instantly for MacKenzie, the decision to divorce came after deep reflection about her values, her sense of self, and what she wanted for her future. The move was not just a reaction to betrayal, but a thoughtful redefinition of her life path, one that emphasized independence, generosity, and resilience. She later became known for one of the most generous philanthropic efforts in recent history. From a broader perspective, the Bezos divorce sheds light on the intersection of wealth, power, privacy, and gender roles in contemporary society. It challenges traditional narratives about marriage, celebrity, and the public's right to know. It invites us to consider how people cope with personal upheaval amid intense scrutiny, and what it means to reclaim agency after trauma. As the story of Jeff Bezos and MacKenzie Scott unfolded, the timeline of events leading to their divorce revealed a complex interplay of trust, betrayal, and personal growth. The initial shock of the affair was compounded by how it was exposed through a mix of investigative journalism and digital surveillance, raising questions about privacy in the internet age. Jeff Bezos first began dating Lauren Sanchez after years of marriage. With MacKenzie, the relationship was reportedly discreet at first, but the release of text messages and photographs by the National Enquirer turned it into a public spectacle. The media coverage intensified with every new detail, fueling speculation about the future of the Bezos marriage. MacKenzie's response to the public revelation was both measured and powerful. She filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, and quickly moved to secure a fair settlement, focusing on transparency and respect. Despite the painful circumstances, MacKenzie's actions demonstrated a commitment to dignity and autonomy, a narrative that contrasted with the sensational headlines. This phase of their story illustrates broader themes about how individuals navigate public crises in the digital era. The rapid spread of information means that private moments become public property almost instantly, leaving little room for controlled narratives or personal healing. The Bezos case highlights the emotional toll and strategic considerations involved in managing such exposure. The legal proceedings that followed were closely watched by media experts and the public alike. MacKenzie Scott's settlement reportedly included a significant financial agreement, one of the largest in history, highlighting issues of wealth division, gender dynamics, and personal agency in high-net-worth divorces. The settlement enabled MacKenzie to pursue philanthropic ventures, reshaping her public image beyond the financial aspects. The divorce marked a turning point for both parties in their personal lives and public personas. Jeff Bezos continued to focus on his business ventures and new relationship, while MacKenzie embraced a path of philanthropy, authorship, and personal reinvention. Her story became emblematic of resilience and redefinition after public heartbreak. The media frenzy surrounding the divorce also sparked conversations about the ethics of reporting on private lives, especially when it involves powerful individuals with global influence. Debates arose about the role of tabloid journalism, digital privacy, and the boundaries of public interest. These discussions remain relevant as technology continues to blur lines between public and private spheres. In this context, the Bezos divorce serves as a case study in how celebrity culture intersects with technology, law, and personal rights. It prompts reflection on how society balances curiosity with respect, and how individuals reclaim control over their narratives amid pervasive scrutiny. As we continue to examine the aftermath of Jeff Bezos and MacKenzie Scott's separation, the role of media scrutiny and public fascination comes sharply into focus. The story not only unfolded in headlines and social media posts but also became a reflection of our society's complex relationship with celebrity privacy and the power dynamics of storytelling. The National Enquirer's decision to publish private texts and photos was met with mixed reactions. Some praised the transparency and journalistic courage, while others criticized it as invasive tabloid sensationalism. This controversy sparked debates about the ethical limits of journalism, especially in an era where digital evidence can be weaponized against individuals regardless of consent or context. For Jeff Bezos, the fallout extended beyond personal embarrassment. The incident raised questions about leadership, credibility, and the impact of personal scandals on corporate reputation. While Amazon continued its growth trajectory, the story introduced a new dimension to the public image of its founder, one that combined brilliance with vulnerability. MacKenzie Scott's evolution following the divorce attracted widespread attention as she redirected her focus toward philanthropy, giving away billions of dollars to causes ranging from racial equality to climate change. Her approach to generosity was noted for its scale, speed, and lack of traditional restrictions, highlighting a shift toward more empowered and autonomous philanthropy. This transformation challenged stereotypical narratives about divorce and loss. Instead of retreating into privacy or bitterness, MacKenzie embraced a new identity, one defined by agency, impact, and generosity. Her story inspired many to reconsider what it means to rebuild after disruption and how public figures can use their influence for positive change. The cultural conversations sparked by the Bezos divorce also touched on issues of gender roles, wealth, and power in modern relationships. Debates emerged about the expectations placed on women in high-profile marriages, and the ways in which financial independence can shift dynamics both during and after relationships. These discussions resonate far beyond the celebrity sphere. Social media platforms amplified public engagement with the story, providing spaces for support, criticism, and analysis, but also exposing participants to trolling, harassment, and misinformation. The Bezos divorce highlighted how digital platforms can simultaneously empower and endanger those caught in the spotlight, creating a paradox of connection and vulnerability. As viewers reflecting on this story, it is valuable to consider the broader implications for privacy, ethics, media responsibility, and personal resilience in a connected world. The Bezos divorce invites us to question how much we consume and share about others' lives, and what boundaries we uphold in doing so. Turning our attention to MacKenzie Scott's philanthropic journey following her divorce reveals a story of transformation and empowerment that defies traditional narratives about wealth and reinvention. After the end of her marriage, MacKenzie emerged not just as a philanthropist, but as a visionary, changing how giving is approached in the modern era. Her commitment to distributing her wealth rapidly and without heavy restrictions challenged the norms of conventional philanthropy, which often involves lengthy grant processes and bureaucratic oversight. MacKenzie chose to trust organizations and individuals to use funds creatively and effectively, prioritizing impact over control. This approach won admiration and sparked conversations about the future of charitable giving. Moreover, her donations targeted critical and often underfunded areas, including racial justice, economic equity, public health, and climate change, signaling a strategic understanding of systemic issues and a desire to contribute to long-term solutions. Rather than quick fixes, her willingness to step into controversial or neglected spaces elevated the profile of causes that needed urgent attention. MacKenzie's philanthropic identity also highlighted themes of autonomy and resilience. After personal upheaval, she reframed her narrative from that of a divorced woman to a powerful agent of change, focusing on legacy and purpose. Her story offers inspiration for anyone seeking to rebuild and redefine success on their own terms. This new chapter also contributed to shifting public perceptions about divorce, especially among high-net-worth individuals. MacKenzie's example demonstrated that separation does not mean loss but can be a gateway to new beginnings and meaningful contributions to society. Her journey encouraged a more nuanced understanding of empowerment beyond relationship status. The broader cultural impact of her giving extends to how philanthropy intersects with social justice and community empowerment. It has prompted institutions and donors alike to reconsider how resources are allocated and how partnerships with grassroots organizations can foster more equitable outcomes. This shift reflects a growing recognition of the need for inclusive and responsive approaches to change. At the same time, MacKenzie's story invites reflection on the responsibilities that come with wealth and influence in a world facing deep inequalities. Her choice to give publicly and generously places a spotlight on the potential for individual action to complement systemic efforts while also raising questions about the role of philanthropy in addressing root causes versus symptoms of social problems. As we reflect on these developments, it is important to appreciate the complexity and humanity of MacKenzie Scott's path post-divorce. Her story is not just about money or fame, but about transformation, courage, and the pursuit of meaning in the face of profound personal change. As we arrive at the final part of this story, it becomes clear that the divorce between Jeff Bezos and MacKenzie Scott was not just a celebrity event, it was a window into the complexities of human relationships, digital privacy, public perception, and personal reinvention. It was a story about endings, yes, but also about what comes after, the kind of transformation that reshapes not only individual lives but public conversations and cultural expectations. The shocking moment that led to their divorce, the revelation of Bezos's affair with Lauren Sanchez, was not just a tabloid headline, it was a mirror reflecting the vulnerability even of the most powerful people in the world. It reminded everyone that no matter how much wealth or influence one may have, trust remains the fragile thread that binds relationships, and once broken, it changes everything. Yet what made this story endure beyond the initial scandal was not the affair itself, but the way each person responded to it. Jeff Bezos faced public scrutiny and personal criticism, but he also continued to lead Amazon and later focused on space exploration and private ventures, turning his energy toward legacy projects. MacKenzie Scott, on the other hand, took a different path, away from the spotlight of business and into the heart of social change, redefining what it means to move forward after public heartbreak. Together, their stories invite us to consider what we value most in times of crisis. Do we seek revenge, or do we seek purpose? Do we allow the world to define us, or do we reclaim our identity and redefine the narrative on our own terms? MacKenzie Scott's response especially continues to resonate as a story of grace, strength, and agency, a reminder that reinvention is always possible, even when the world is watching. The public's role in this saga also cannot be ignored. Millions followed their story, not just out of curiosity, but because it reflected themes that are deeply human: trust, betrayal, resilience, and hope. The way the media covered their lives sparked necessary discussions about boundaries, ethics, and the right to privacy, even for those who live in the public eye. In our digitally connected age, stories like this remind us that no one is truly untouchable. No one is beyond the reach of personal trials, but what we do with those moments, how we rise from them, and what we choose to build afterward, that is what defines us. If there is one lasting insight from the divorce of Jeff Bezos and MacKenzie Scott, it is that even from disruption and disappointment, something meaningful and lasting can emerge. The lessons are not just for billionaires or public figures, but for all of us who have ever faced change, who have ever had to pick up the pieces and start again. Thank you for joining us in exploring this powerful and emotional journey. If this story inspired reflection or brought clarity to how personal and public lives intertwine, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. How do you define reinvention? What does privacy mean to you in today's world, and how do you find purpose after a major life transition? Your voice matters, your insight adds value, and your story, like MacKenzie's,
This video
may
covers
one day
legal allegations
inspire
in a news
someone else
context.
to keep going.
All
even
claims
when
are
the
from
path
official
ahead seems
filings, and
uncertain.
no guilt is implied until proven in court. Please keep all discussions respectful. Allegations are not facts until proven in court.